Do you even lift, bro?
Hello. Today, you have Chad and John Ralphio. I don't know who Chad is or where he's from, but
Bounce.
I feel like a Chad in
and
these
all the
sunglasses.
ladies saying.
And John Ralphio is from the lovely town of Pawnee, Indiana. He's cut his hair recently. We did a haircut today. Yeah, so we were going to do this in onesie pajamas because I thought that would be hilarious because I've never seen Josh in onesie pajamas before. Sorry, I have to take these off. I can't see anything. I've never seen Josh in onesie pajamas before, and I thought if we could get like a unicorn or a bunny rabbit or like a ninja turtle, maybe that would be amazing. But it's May. It turns out nowhere really sells onesie pajamas in May because it's really, really warm.
Digital Hammurabi thinks it all through.
I know. I really planned this so well. So we got to the store and failed and decided that it's the summer. There are these just delightful shirts on sale. So instead we are frat boys on vacation. Josh, you might not be able to see, has decorated with some empty cans and bottles and I think a bra. So clearly we've been having a good party here. Yeah. Hi! I'm Megan. I'm not really Chad. I'm Megan. This is Dr. Josh. We're Digital Hammurabi. And we're very excited because yesterday we finally hit 8,000 subscribers.
Up top.
Woo! That felt so weird. I don't think I've ever done that in my entire life. And I choose the moment when I am live on the internet to debut it in my repertoire.
But in front of our best friends.
I mean, that's true. These people are going to be nice to me no matter what kind of an idiot I make of myself. So thank you. It's your fault, maybe. Fault is the wrong word. It's down
Huzzah!
to you guys. Huzzah indeed. I have tea, but huzzah. I don't like doing
What kind of frat boy are you?
A bad frat boy.
I guess I should be drinking it more like this.
So, thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for subscribing and for watching what we do. If you're new here, we normally dress a little less like 18-year-old boys. Given that I'm a 32-year-old woman.
Bye, bye, bye.
I mean, Josh always dresses like this. You don't see it on camera, but this is how he goes
This
to
is
work.
my standard operating procedures right here. Beach bum.
He's normally got more gold chains. He thought he'd dress down for the occasion.
Yeah.
But we normally do historical videos. We are both Assyriologists. We do Hebrew and Akkadian and Sumerian and literary texts and history and all kinds of exciting things.
We keep it real.
We do. But today we are celebrating with our tea and our beer. So if you have questions, any kinds of questions, I can't promise we'll have answers for them. Like if you ask me what pi squared is, I'm not going to tell you.
I think pi is round.
That's true. At least I'm not going to tell you before I've Googled it because I don't know the answer to those questions. But we do have some questions already, so I'm going to start off. Lisa for Truth says, why aren't there dedicated Assyriology textbooks? That is a great question, and I'm not 100% sure. It's a pretty specialised field. You do get it taught to undergraduates, but they don't tend to be like the big 200 class.
Yeah, I mean, we do have, I don't know.
Like, there's not an intro. Like, there you get intro to chemistry or intro to algebra.
Yeah. You have, like, Vandermeer Opp's book on...
I recommended that to her.
Oh. Well, there you go.
Yeah, so we don't really have any. Partly because, like, it's not... You just don't have the interest, apart from anything else. You don't get a lot of people taking it at undergraduate level. You get a lot of grad students, but by the time you get to grad school, you kind of have an idea of what Assyriology is. It's not a good answer. I'm sorry. Steve Bowden. Question. Will Talk Rubbish be the name of your exciting new YouTube channel? Excellent question. This is because I said if they didn't give us questions, it would just be us talking rubbish for an hour and a half. No, but maybe one day we should make a channel called Digital Hammurabi Talks Rubbish. I feel like we do that a lot anyway.
Yeah.
No, we are developing a kids channel called Anna Mesopotamia. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm actually going away for my sister's wedding at the end of the week. Excuse me. I'm going to be writing the script for the first episode, which will be called Mesopotamia. Can you eat it? And the answer is no, you can't, because it's not food. Which is something I tell our son very regularly. Oliver, that's not a food. You can't eat that. So,
we have a super chat from Shannon Q.
We do. Why don't you read that in your Kent Hovind?
Yes, from Shannon Q for Canadian $2. Okay. Why is Megan so hot? Okay. So this isn't my wife. It's a picture of her. Okay. I'm here to help. Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you very much, Shannon. Math Magic Pagan, when does Josh's Kent Hovind shirt arrive? Well,
what is this shirt? Is it like a Hawaiian shirt?
Yeah, they're like short-sleeved Hawaiian shirts. We do need to get you one of those. And then you can keep it in like a cubby and then put it on for the super chats.
Oh, yeah.
And then take it off like Superman. Let's have a look.
I started my second book.
Yeah. Oh, before that, we have people asking where the introduction music is from. The like do.
YouTube.
With the countdown.
The free YouTube music. I'm 97.3% sure that's where I got it.
That sounds about right.
I can't remember things very well anymore.
Why don't you talk about your book?
Right. So I've decided that for a lot of these topics that I discuss, I end up doing an awful lot of research because that's the only way I really feel comfortable talking about it to people. So with slavery in the Old Testament and the ancient Near East, I've done a lot of work. And so I figured every time I do something like that, I might as well go ahead and write a popular level book about it. So I have laid out the structure of the book, and I have all of my notes ready. And so I've started writing. So hopefully it won't take too terribly long to write it, but it'll be a popular level book. And as I get a little closer, maybe I'll read the introduction live for everybody. But
and I should add, this doesn't mean that his Sumerian grammar is on hold. We're still waiting, probably until the end of June for... It's gone out to review to various Sumerologists. We want to make sure that it's good before we let other people have it. So once we get the reviews back and we've managed to incorporate those comments, then we will be publishing that and putting it on sale, hopefully by the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, some of these popular level books that I'm thinking of writing, I don't know that they necessarily need to be strictly peer reviewed, but this Sumerian grammar I thought was, it's a good idea to just get other Sumerologists to
make sure.
To deal with it. I mean, I will have people, obviously, Hebrew Bible specialists, reading any of the popular level books that I put out, but anyway.
So Steve Bowden says, is Mrs. Digital Hammurabi wearing a fedora? Yes, I am. In hindsight, I probably should have got a matching hat, but we went with the fedora.
I don't know. I mean, there aren't many people that can.
That's true. I like the turning.
Thank you.
That was very Night at the Roxbury. We should have,
Who, me, you, me, you, me.
Theo has put some kind of frat chant in the chat. Good job, Theo.
Did I see?
Yami Yomizuki says, I am definitely Chad. So I am not Megan anymore. I am now Chad. Josh is indeed wearing an MTV top. Jay Pasek, no one needs to be wearing what they are wearing. I wholeheartedly agree with you, Jay. I wholeheartedly agree with you. And I would wear this for no one but you guys. And Josh actually put this on and came through with his hat on, and I burst out laughing because he looks like a 19-year-old college boy. Yami Yamizuki was conceived while his parents were in a frat. Congratulations. I'm not sure where I was conceived. I'm sure my mum told me at some point. Theo, here's our question. Is it possible to transcribe our names into cuneiform? Yes, it is. And up until recently, that was one of the rewards on our Patreon. But it got a little bit time intensive, so I removed it.
But we've replaced it with even better things.
We have.
We have some super chats. You want me to read them?
Yes. Yes, go for it.
Okay, so Maynard saves for $2. Congrats, water, strata, mountain. Okay? I think he's making fun of the way that I speak, but of course, as time goes by, perhaps he will evolve and speak like I do. Okay? I'm here to help.
You're amazing.
And actually, I think I saw another one from Enkidu 5.
Yep, Enkidu 5.
Enkidu 5 for $10. Thank you, Enkidu. Okay. Congrats on the 8K. Got a computer update? Has the computer come from a non-computer?
We do have a computer update. I've officially ordered all of the parts. We got a new desk from Facebook.
When we say new, what we mean is...
It costs $35 and it's covered in paint, but it's not my sewing table. So it's not going to wobble as we type.
So look, you guys don't know this.
We should have taken a picture of our setup before I moved everything.
So she's got this...
It's an antique sewing table with the cast iron legs, and the top folds over.
Okay,
so it's on hinges. So there's
But if I could just pause this for just a second. When we say antique, I don't want you to think antique in the nice way.
It's antique that I need to fix up.
Yeah. So the top of the thing kind of wobbles, and then she folded out the top so that it created a longer part for the desk.
But the problem is if you do that, there's a hole where the old sewing machine used to go, so I put a giant breadboard over the top and our computer sat on that.
And it's been going so we've had to wedge pieces of paper underneath the video. We're really professional here at Digital Hammurabi. So now
as you can tell by our
we've
outfits,
upgraded.
We have.
Okay.
We have an actual desk that costs $35. And I think was once a very nice desk, but one of the drawers is broken and it's covered in paint. But the bonus is it is actually big enough and stable enough to hold a computer.
It was,
or at least a computer screen.
It was nice when oh man, the firepiece. What's the quote? Hold on. I don't know. When it was in the second drawing room, it cost £800.
Indeed.
If anybody can...
In the Regency period, when Jane Austen was writing, this was a nice desk.
You think that. If that gives you comfort.
So, yes, the computer parts are ordered. They should be arriving on Tuesday, which means I will be spending Wednesday putting a computer together.
Oh, Mr. Bennett!
Before I leave the country on Saturday. So... exciting times. Very exciting. Cadaver splatter. The goal of my studies is to translate cuneiform tablets, and I am wondering how viable of a career that will be, or will it be something I do occasionally on my own time? That is a good question. It depends entirely on if you can get a job, which is a bad answer.
If I could give my 2 cents, this is coming from someone who... has gone through grad school and is not teaching. Those two things are not necessarily... there's a reason. There's a good reason behind that. Anyway, sorry, I don't know why I said all that. I would take learning to make information, high-level ivory tower information, relatable to undergrads. And to high school people, I would take that very seriously, because one of the things that we saw, going through our grad school, is there's this move, for better or for worse, there's this move away from sitting alone in the basement of a library, researching and reading tablets all day, and that being, good enough to get a tenure track position. There's been a move away from that to how many undergrads can you reach? How, relevant can you make your research? So it's one of the reasons that we're so big on this scholarship program, because that's the goal. The goal is to make it so that people not only work in the ivory tower and get all that, research ability, but they can also make it relatable to people that are non-specialists. So I would take that very seriously. Obviously learn Sumerian and Akkadian extraordinarily well, but learn how to speak well, learn how to write well, and make it relatable. That would help.
So to add to that, if you do end up working in a university or a college, it depends entirely on which you're in. If you're in a liberal arts college or teaching a more general history degree, which is what a lot of people end up doing, because there aren't that many jobs specifically for Assyriologists. A lot of us end up teaching ancient history or working in classics or archaeology departments. You probably won't be able to do translation work during the year because your teaching load will be such that you just can't do it. So then what happens is either when you have a sabbatical year or if you have research time over the summer, that's when you get to do things like tablet translating. If, say, you get to work in like Yale or Oxbridge, or you end up in the museum sector, then you may have more time for that kind of original research. But it entirely depends on what kind of field you end up in, unfortunately. And again, if you end up in a small college with no cuneiform collection at all, then you're going to have to be traveling to do your translation work, which again limits you to when you can do it.
Yeah.
So it depends. Trevor Lunn says, good to see my great aunt's curtains repurposed as tank tops. Your great aunt has excellent taste in curtains. Jay Pasick says, do not read that in Kent Hovind's voice.
Oh.
You can read it in John Ralphio's voice.
Man, I don't know if I can do that. I can read it in Napoleon's voice.
Go for it.
Jay Pasick for $10. Congratulations, you two. Excellent work from both of you.
Thank you, Jay.
We do whatever we feel like we want to do. Gosh.
Steve Baden again. Will Megan get some help finding something to wear for her sister's wedding? Her current outfit seems problematic. Yes, it is very problematic.
Do you ever take it off any sweet jumps?
I'm a bridesmaid, so actually my outfit is all chosen for me. I basically turn up, put on their dress. And Oliver gets to wear a kilt, which is probably going to be the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Did I know that?
I think I told you.
I have MS. Did you know that? Because
No.
I forget almost everything you tell me.
B. Haven says that the kids' channel sounds like fun, but why can't you eat Mesopotamia? I mean, they grow food, don't they? Don't they have their own cuisine? Yes, so you could eat Mesopotamian food, but I don't think you could eat Mesopotamia.
That kind of came from a joke that I used to tell about a church board meeting in this old country church, because I used to pastor in a country church. And they were sitting around this board meeting, and this young pastor came in, and he said, one of the things we really need to do to get attendance up is we need to become fresh and contemporary. We need to really spruce this place up. And he looked around and he said, like over there, we really need to have a chandelier. Let's get a nice chandelier. And the old chairman of the board stood up and he said, let me tell you something, you young whippersnapper. We don't need no chandelier. I can't even spell chandelier, much less play one.
So there you go.
But that's where it came from. Mesopotamia. Can you eat it?
Theo says, here's a question. Who are some famous Assyrian women? Any famous empresses?
Frank.
Not Frank.
Oh.
Not Frank. So no empresses per se. There were queens. And like the Neo-Assyrian period is a bit late for me, so I can't give you any names. I guess the most famous woman from Mesopotamian history would be Enheduanna, who is or was a princess of the first Akkadian dynasty, daughter of King Sargon I, not the second, which confused me greatly as an undergraduate. I thought it was very inconsiderate that there should be two kings with the same name separated by such a great time span.
Girls don't have careers.
That's true. But Enheduanna was a princess and then made high priestess.
I'm just kidding.
Of the moon god, Nana, at the city of Ur. And there's a large corpus of hymnic literature that's attributed to her, which makes her possibly the first named author.
And quite posh.
In history, indeed, and quite posh, as she was royalty.
I don't help a lot here. Sorry.
There is some debate as to whether these texts are definitely written by her, because all of the copies we have are far later, after she had died. But I like to think that they are, because that would be really, really cool.
Oh, and I have big news. I became a, what is it when you get a wrench in here?
Mod.
I became a mod on Jay Pasick's channel today. Oh!
Congratulations. Shannon said that she's met Kent Hovind and she was not converted. He declared that she would be, but she was not.
But she probably lost the debate because I think he's got like a 10,000 and 0. His record is, I think, a lot like Taco Supreme.
Yeah. Jay Pasick wonders who our thumbs down came from. We all know who the thumbs down came from, and I suspect Jay also knows because he put a smiley face at the end. Speaking of which, if you're watching, we have 52 people watching. Hi.
Wow.
Please hit the like button because it does help us with YouTube.
And if you did hit that unlike button, that's not what it's called, is it?
No. Thumbs down.
Thumbs down button. Unhit it. I mean, come on. And hit the right one. It's probably just a slip.
No,
right?
he's going to go sign into all of his sock accounts and come back and hit the down button again. Magnus wants to know, what did they eat in Sumer? Any treats or cakes or delicacies that we're aware of? Ancient cuisine is not something I've looked into at all.
Do I start that book? I don't think I do.
I don't know. We may have sold
Balturo's book one.
Bread. I know there was bread and beer.
True.
Lettuce, because lettuce is used as a sexual metaphor for pubic hair. So there must have been lettuce. Rats, they ate rats.
They also used rats as tampons.
They also, well, not tampons, suppositories.
But they were pregnancy suppositories, right?
Yeah. I don't know about sweets. There must have been something, but I don't know because they had honey and ghee. I don't know. We need to get...
it's pronounced gahi.
Sorry, gahi. We need to get a food specialist on here.
Yeah, that fast.
Theo, do we have any sources from the Greeks or Romans about their thoughts on the Assyrian Empire, or if they knew about them? Well, the Romans are far too late, unless they were talking about the Assyrians as an historical people. I don't know. So we have... who's the Greek who wrote about... So Herodotus writes about Mesopotamia. Does he? Or does he just do Greek? No, Herodotus writes about Mesopotamia. That's one of the places where we get the whole temple prostitution idea from. And Berosus?
It's Herodotus.
Exactly, Herodotus. And Berosus writes about Mesopotamia as well. Except I think he was a Mesopotamian writing for his Greek overlords. But there's nothing that I know of that gives like a more overarching view of the Assyrians.
You're like wicked smart.
I did classics.
You're wicked smart.
I did classics at college.
Do you even lift?
No. Well, I lift Oliver, but that's about it.
Hey, you picked up that 30-pound dumbbell.
I did. It was rough, but I did it. Yeah, so Herodotus writes about them, and then you've got this very kind of exotic, kind of pseudo-savage opinion coming through from him. But that's about as much as I can tell you. Yamayo Mizuki, would you consider making these books into audiobooks?
I guess I would.
The library or our videos?
Dude, I feel like I'm going to do. Gosh.
Because we can't make those into audiobooks without permission from the copyright holders. Our stuff we are slowly transforming into podcasts. Not everything, but some things. And if you have specific requests, if you have specific requests that I strip the video out of any of our YouTube content and just upload the audio, I'm very happy to do that. It takes 15 minutes tops. Just email me, digitalhammurabi@gmail.com. I'm very happy to do it. Just tell me what you want. Paul B, what is your angle on Proto-Indo-European? I don't have one.
30 degree.
Because I don't know enough about it to have an opinion.
I've said nothing of use tonight.
You have said things of use.
But this is me keeping as a frat boy.
Smitty wants to know, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Baby, don't hurt me no more. Sorry, I stole your line there, didn't I?
I'm sorry.
What is love?
Me, you, me.
You're supposed to keep going. You're supposed to keep going.
Baby, don't hurt me. No. Okay.
Sorry. Dean Martin, why don't you write an historical novel about ancient Sumer? It's very tempting. It really is very tempting. It's one of those things that I have thought about. I know actually Dr. Moody al-Rashid is doing one in Neo-Babylonian times. But it is a field that needs tapping because it's just so interesting. You should.
Yeah, that sounds too interesting for me to write.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm on the Sumerian grammar end of the spectrum of interest. Interesting, not interesting.
Guitar Dog, are the 12 tribes of Israel and the 12 disciples based on the zodiac? No.
I'm going to say this with great thought and precision. I don't be knowing.
I don't know either. I'm just going to say no, but I don't know.
But we can look.
Jay Pasek, Jesus wept. One could argue that it is statistically impossible to get hit by a car while crossing the street wearing Dr. Josh's shirt. Yeah, I would argue that. Theo, what kind of beer and tea are you guys drinking? I just finished a cup of English breakfast.
This is Americanon.
Yes.
It's brewed in Baltimore. And it makes me happy. Watch.
My tea is Yorkshire tea, specifically, if that helps.
It's you got any Yorkshire.
Lisa for Truth, when was the last time you were on a dig? Does the political situation hamper your field? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was on one in 2010, just before the war. In Syria.
When did I go? 2012, maybe?
Yeah.
I was in Turkey. Not digging, I was doing surface survey, which means you walk around an archaeological site and pick shit up. Lots and lots of tiny pottery pieces, like this big. So then they count them and sort them and work out how many pottery pieces per square meter, because you put them all in individual bags labelled with each particular square, so that you know exactly where they came from. A lot of times they're like they're synced with a geosynchronous thing. I can't remember what it's called, but you put in the coordinates on it looks like a big calculator. I've told them more than I know, and it logs that to the bag that you're putting the sherds in. So then it tells you, like, it can be used to calculate things like population density, and you can try and identify like areas of industry. If you pick up a lot of like metal byproducts, it's called slag, from the smelting industry. If you find a lot in one area, maybe that's a refinery, so that when you then go to excavate, you know kind of what areas you want to target and what you might find there.
You can find out where people, when they hopped up out of the bed, they turned their slag on.
Yeah. Jay Pasek, our shirts are physically and psychologically assaulting his eyes. Mine has SpongeBob SquarePants on. And I died a little.
I'll make sure I wear it tomorrow.
Enkidu, can we use the video card? Yes, I think we can. I checked it all out and it should fit and be absolutely perfect. So thank you. Datoxic herbivore. I'm confused. In 1 Samuel 25, Samuel died. All Israel assembled and mourned for him. In 1 Samuel 26, David spares Saul again. Then the Ziphites come to Saul. Saul and Samuel are two different people, if that's what you're getting at. I'm not quite sure. Can you elaborate? That would be awesome. We had Jay's thingy. Tim Smith, as a frat boy stunt, Dr. Josh must read the prayer to Shamash against dogs in Kent Hovind's voice. Let me get the prayer.
How would you do that to Shamash? I don't know. I guess you'd have to do it in a circle. And then point up.
Or like sun rays.
It's going to be our new handshake.
We're going to be smoked down by someone or something pretty soon.
Shamash. Bid, please.
Shamash.
Schmeck good.
Against dogs. 730. If you have not yet purchased this fine publication and you have an interest in ancient literature, this is Before the Muses by Benjamin Foster.
Against dogs, okay? It's during the mature period. That's how long it took to evolve. Okay, now I'm here to help. Oh, Shamash, a king of heaven and earth, a judge of above and below. Light of the gods, a guide of humankind, who judges the cases of the great gods. Couldn't be that great. Okay. I turn to you, I seek you out. Command among the gods life for me. And not for my wife, that's just a picture. May the gods who are with you speak favorably of me. On account of this dog that has urinated on me, I am afraid, anxious, frightened. Okay. Deliver me from the evil of this dog. Let me sound your praises. Okay? Yeah.
There we go.
Hopefully Shamash will evolve. But of course, I've never seen a Shamash produce a non-Shamash.
Twisted Hippie, do we have innie or outie belly buttons? Innie, unless I'm highly pregnant, in which case it kind of disappears and I look a bit like an alien.
I don't remember.
Innie.
Oh, there you go.
Alias fake name wants photos of Oliver in a kilt. They will be on Twitter. Shannon Q is doing her MS walk next Sunday. Shannon, if you haven't put the link in the description or in the chat, please put your link in. If you have any kind of spare cash and you want to donate to Shannon's walk, please do. MS is a debilitating disease that we and Shannon are both living with. It needs all the help it can get because there is currently no cure and treatment can be very hit or miss.
Shannon, do you even walk, bro?
Digital Hammurabi. Not having to remember what your wife tells you, the one upside of MS.
That's not true.
Read the discussion. So this is from Normandy Beach. Read the discussion with Dr. Brown. He kept saying that slavery was only allowed for a time, not for all time. Is there any biblical support for this limited time slavery?
I'm trying to remember where he said that. I suspect what he meant was that ultimately in time, coming up into modern time, that I think he would argue that Christianity had a strong hand in bringing about the end of slavery, the abolition of slavery here in the U.S. I suspect that's what he was talking about. Certainly not in the biblical text. I mean, I guess one could make an argument that in the New Testament, and again, I'm much more cautious about speaking on New Testament things, but I suspect that an argument could be made that in the New Testament, you have Paul making statements that seem to try to bring people more into a unified place. So, in Christ, there's neither Jew nor free, male nor female, slave nor free. But, and then with, in Philemon, it was Epaphras. But, I suspect that's what he was talking about, but I don't
Sorry,
know.
Everyone. This is going to be a little bit noisy. I'm plugging in my iPad so I can keep up with the questions because it's about to die.
Oh, you can use my iPad.
Sorry, I have this one here. But thank you. That probably would have been a better solution than
That's true.
charger.
Vote for Pedro.
Cadaver splatter. Most of my studies are relating to Mesopotamia or before the Hellenistic period. Can you recommend or link some articles so that I can acquaint myself with Mesopotamia after Seleucus? I will look and see what I can find in our hard drive. See if we have any bibliographies from when I was in coursework. Honestly, anything after the Neo-Assyrian period, I'm very sketchy on. I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, you can. There are books from the Seleucid period itself that talk about like Uruk and during the Seleucid period. Of course, one of the books that I'm thinking of deals in depth with liturgical texts. But if you email us,
we have him on Facebook. We can. Mm-hmm. We have him on Facebook. We can.
Yeah.
Message. Michael Roble. Watching lots of old world history, there's lots of people killing to be king, like fathers, brothers, cousins, sisters. What were the royal transitions like in Mesopotamia? Good question. Varied. When you had a strong line of succession and a really strong ruling family, it seems like it was relatively peaceful. You'd have a crown prince, like a prince crowned as the heir and successor during the king's lifetime, and when the king died, there was a pretty seamless transition of power.
If there was a lot of preparation that went into it, you see that I think with Esarhaddon.
Yeah.
But I mean, the reality I think was that you see this with like Nebuchadnezzar, who's off battling Carchemish, and then hears that the king has died. Boom, he's got to get back there real fast
to make sure that he can get power before someone else can.
Yeah, I mean, like you have. So Galmata. I'm just trying to think of places where, but even with
and then actually in the Neo-Assyrian period, you've got Ashurbanipal, and was it Ashurbanipal?
What are we talking about?
The brothers.
Oh, Shamash-Shumukin.
Yeah.
You've
got one brother is prince of like the north, one brother is prince of the south, and when their father dies, the idea is that they rule in tandem. Doesn't work terribly well. so then you end up having civil war and one brother killing the other and seizing control. You also have things like, and this ties into Tim Smith's next question, you have like hints here and there of illegitimate successions. So the name Sargon, he says, doesn't Sargon mean the real king? It basically means the king is legitimate.
So we know he was.
Yeah, which is not suspicious at all and definitely means that he was supposed to take control.
And death and murder did not follow David in the biblical text. In fact, David was never even there when people died. So, it was all good.
Yes. So, theoretically speaking, it was supposed to be relatively smooth. And sometimes it was. Sometimes it wasn't. So, yeah, it's pretty similar to most monarchies. Yes. Steve Bowden, would Josh consider phoning Dr. Kent Hovind and asking him a question on his show using the Hovind voice? I'm not sure Josh is malicious enough to do that.
Yeah, I'd probably say, I'm really sorry. Sorry. Has anybody else noticed that I apologize a lot? Have you noticed that?
I have.
Hey, yeah. Vote for Pedro. Let's go Sharks. Pigs. Lucky.
Sorry, I'm looking to make sure I don't miss any questions.
Girls only want boyfriends that have great skills.
Dean Martin said that one of his professors at KSU was Dr. Snyder. That is a name I know. Who wrote his dissertation on Sumerian economic texts. He was a great instructor and vice president. That's awesome.
He also had bow hunting skills. What's
Sorry,
a liger?
everyone. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything.
It's a lion. It's a cross between a lion and a tiger. Bred for its skills in magic. Okay, sorry.
Sorry. I know we're like a long way behind the chat. I'm sorry. I'm staying where I am to make sure I catch everything. Yummy Mizuki clarifying, would we make the books Dr. Josh is writing into audiobooks? Yes, definitely. Yes.
Could you read them though?
Yeah.
Because your voice is like dope.
I will definitely read them. It might be a little tricky for the grammar. The exercises might be challenging, but yes, at least the body of the text.
Do you even talk, bro?
No, I don't. Xanos Carthage, but is cereal a soup? Only if you blend it and add milk. Rand Huso, I tend to purchase audiobooks, especially those read by the author. I've got all the Douglas Adams books read by him. That's cool.
We were going to read The Man Inside Me. Change all the the pronouns to male. But
no.
Does anybody watch Arrested Development? I don't know.
Steve Bowden, how about writing a Sumerian romance novel? You could give it a title like You Are My Heart.
Nice.
Yep. Excellent.
You Are My Les.
Excellent.
Sorry, we just got demonetized.
Rand again. What do you think of Daniel Foxfog's introduction to Sumerian grammar? Haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I briefly looked at it months ago. Just in my cursory reading, I mean, it looked.
I've heard very good things about it.
Yeah.
I've seen it recommended by other Assyriologists, but I haven't personally looked through it. Which is, sorry, it's why we don't link it. I've had someone ask me before, can we put the link in the description? Until one of us gets a chance to actually sit down and read through it, I don't want to put the link in. I'm sure it's fantastic, but I try only to link stuff that we've actually had a chance to look at. NQG5 is going to ship our the graphics card. Thank you very much. Definitely appreciate that. That would be amazing.
Do the chickens have large talons? I don't know why I've gotten into Napoleon Dynamite. He's not really a frat boy.
It's the hat. Theo, what event in Assyrian history did you think should be made into a movie?
Ooh. I would say the I was going to say the transition from the Neo-Assyrian to the Neo-Babylonian Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my god, evil Marduk, Marduk Baladan.
Ooh.
You know the whole thing.
They don't know the whole thing.
Oh, read Brinkman's book. God, freaking idiot. Yeah, there's a yeah. I don't tell the whole story now. Or the Mari period. with Hammurabi and the whole...
The Mari period is pretty cool because you have, like, 4 different kingdoms, 4 different kings, all vying for power, making alliances against the other guy, and then secret backstabbing messengers, and it's very exciting. And at one point, Hammurabi steals Zimri-Lim, who is the king of Mari, his army, and he doesn't steal them, he borrows them to deal with a rebellious southern ruler, and then he just keeps them.
Yeah.
And you have a letter from Zimri-Lim
We
saying,
have the letter.
Dude, where's my army? I need them. Send them back. It's great.
And you almost get the equivalent of, like, Hammurabi writing back, I'm not too worried about it.
I would like, actually, the, what we were talking about earlier, the Ashurbanipal, Shamash-shuma-ukin, like, civil war period. I think that would be really interesting. Yeah, because then you've got, like, family rivalries, and I'm sure we could work a romance in there somewhere. Maybe Ashurbanipal steals Shamash-shuma-ukin's wife. That's completely fictitious. I don't know that happened. It probably didn't. I made it up for the sake of good storytelling, but I think that would be awesome. Dean Martin. Oh, we've already read that one. Theo. Ashurbanipal versus Alexander the Great. Duel to the death. Who would win?
Alexander the Great.
Probably Alexander the Great. Yeah.
Imagine.
He was a bit of a badass, if we're honest. And I'm not in, like, I don't know. Ashurbanipal doesn't seem to have had a lot in the way of practical military experience. He did lots of library building and that kind of thing, but not so much.
Maybe he would stand there and say, I've just read the Omen. You're going to lose, Alex. I'm sorry, man. I've read the tablet.
Yeah, exactly.
You read it. Oh, you can't. Sorry.
Tim Smith says that I lost it. No, come back. No. Sorry. Tim says the Oriental Institute at Chicago University and the Penn Museum are great resources. Yes. I'm picking that out because they're amazing. They both have YouTube channels that have fantastic lectures on. If you haven't looked at them, go and look.
Karen
After this.
Karen Radner just did one on the new Assyrian Empire.
Which was amazing.
Awesome.
It was about how to opt out of being ruled by an empire without open rebellion. And like crops you could grow without being taxed, and it was very cool. Nick J said there needs to be Sumerian anime. I agree.
We're coming close. Anna Mesopotamia.
Steve Bowden, apologise too much and you are on your way to becoming a Canadian Assyriologist. Nick J says you don't apologise a lot.
Oh.
Theo, hey Josh, did they have myths about ligers in Assyria? Rand, sorry, I did miss his question. Again, what do we think of Intro to Sumerian Grammar? Oh no, we did do that one.
I tell you, there is a Sumerian grammar intro that's coming out. I'm trying to remember who wrote it.
He does actually ask, where's yours? Not finished. Well, finished, but we're waiting for the reviews to come back before we publish.
Man, who wrote that?
You did.
Awesome guy. I don't remember that precisely.
J.M. Campbell says, eat your food, Tina, you fat lard.
Tina, eat the food.
B. Haven says, you're on my mind. You are. With the city name.
Nice.
Cadaver Splatter. I have read Foxfog and it's the instructional grammar I would recommend after John Hayes' manual. Hayes is better for a more rounded understanding of Sumerology, but Foxfog is better for grammar. I didn't much like Hayes, to be honest.
So I guess I could take a second since we're talking about it. The whole point of my grammar, and I think most of it is up actually on our Patreon still, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of the chapters are up in their unedited form, aren't they up?
Did we put them up?
Yeah, as we went.
Oh, okay, cool. There we go.
So I don't know that all of it's there, and again, it's the unedited.
I haven't taken them down.
But the goal of my grammar was to be what like Hayes wasn't, and I suspect from what I saw with Foxfog, what Foxfog wasn't. And it's not that either of those are bad. It's that my goal with a grammar is I used Hayes when I started, and I got to like chapter 6, and I was like, I can't go any further because the way that it's written, and you have to have a linguistic mind, I think, already to really get a lot.
That's probably why I didn't like it.
Yeah, so I think that my goal was to make it so that you needed to know English, and that's it, in order to learn Sumerian grammar. So it's very popular level, and yet I think it's still, I mean, you've read it, I think it really still gets you into the meat of Sumerian grammar at the introductory level. I mean, I really think that by the time you're done, you can really read inscriptions at a reasonable level, I think. So
yeah, excellent. Jay Pasick, it's so rude when someone runs off with your army and doesn't return them, or your correspondence about them. The worst.
The worst, Jerry.
Yeah.
The worst.
Yes. Madeline Clark, what advice do you have for someone wanting to start a YouTube channel that resists poor scholarship, but for science stuff, because that's all I know anything about? Generally,
go with the mainstream, the consensus view, like as much as humanly possible. That's what I would say.
Cite your sources. If you don't go with the mainstream, have a damn good reason for doing it. Like with evidence and back everything you say up.
But the thing is, I would say that as far as a YouTube channel is concerned, like when we think about this, I'm not terribly interested in you as the viewers agreeing with my view of why unorthographic Emisol from the city of Kish was written syllabically that way. I like that's I don't really care. I mean, I care about it because I wrote my dissertation on it, but like that's not really necessary for you to understand Mesopotamia. So there really isn't anything outside of the mainstream that I would say we have to talk about really much at all, because our goal is to get you easy access to scholarship. And yeah.
Also, just generally for YouTube, a consistent upload schedule really helps. Engage with your audience. Actually, those are my two big things. If you have to change your upload schedule, because we've had to a couple of times, tell people about it so they know what's happening. They don't think you've just disappeared.
But wear a cool shirt when you do it.
Yeah, that helps. Cool shirts help.
We'll find some.
Theo, would the title of the movie be I, Hammurabi, or I, Ashurbanipal? You can answer that one.
Is that a rhetorical question?
I don't think so.
I think it should be Ashurbanipal because it looks like ass.
Excellent answer. Freddy Four Fingers, have you ever watched any of the Ash vs. Evil Dead series on Netflix? The franchise is based on the Sumerian Book of the Dead.
I don't know, but your name sounds like I should go, Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage?
They show and speak Sumerian on it, the show. You should check it out. What's the Sumerian Book of the Dead? I'm going to have to watch that just to work out what the text is that they're using. And no, I haven't seen it, but I'll look into it. Sorry. I
was up partying last night.
Yes, we went on a date last night. It was so much fun. And we watched Pokemon Detective Pikachu. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
And we were in line, and it said if you get a large popcorn, you can get free refills. Which, I mean, like, who in the world would say?
It's this big.
The woman comes. I said,
it's a tub.
I said, I'll have a large popcorn. And she literally picks the thing. I mean, it really was that big around. And she scoops into the... And as she's scooping, Megan goes, look at that, Josh.
Are you sure you want that much popcorn? Because I don't like American popcorn, so I had a handful, but...
I mean, like, the woman stopped mid-scoop and turned around and was like...
It was like...
Look, Josh!
Look
at how big it is! Oh, it's like, honey, it's called a tub. I mean, like...
I didn't think he was ordering the tub. I thought large was like... This maybe
well,
not.
as George Costanza would say, tub is love.
Indeed. Cadaver Splatter, what about who would win, Alexander the Great or my favourite historical general, Hannibal Barca? It's probably Alexander the Great. I mean, I'd back him against most people, if we're honest.
I don't be knowing.
He doesn't know. Cadaver splatter. Okay. So responding to the Sumerian grammar thing, Cadaver splatter says linguistics is my field. So that's probably why I liked Hayes. Yep. Sorry, everyone. Finding questions. Rand, what about the differences between the men's dialect and the women's?
Yeah, I mean that can be a long discussion. So we've talked about this a little bit, and there's actually a video that Megan interviews me, where Megan interviews me. It's actually pretty early on, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And so regular Sumerian is called Emagir, but then Emma means tongue or language. There's Emma Saul. Saul means thin or fine. So like fine language, fine tongue. And there was this idea that it was a woman's language because when you look in the mythology, you look in the literary texts in particular, you see that women are the ones, female goddesses, who when they're speaking, they're the only ones speaking that language, generally speaking. However, it also shows up in another genre called laments, which is what I wrote my dissertation on. And so there was a group of priests called the Gala priests, Kalu in Akkadian, and they were the ones that performed these liturgies, and so they would have been the ones that spoke Emisal. And so there was this thought then that maybe they had feminine characteristics, maybe they were eunuchs, maybe they were I'm blanking.
Transgender?
Yes, transgender, thank you. Yes, so that's sort of the nutshell version of that. If you look on ETCSL,
Electronic Text Corpus of Sumerian Literature, it's linked in pretty much every video we do. If it's not in the live stream link, then check one of our pre-edited videos because I'm much more assiduous about making sure I put links in those.
Assiduous sounds like such a bad word. I am assiduous. Okay.
I'm not sure if that's the word I was looking for now. Can I have my phone?
Oh. I'm going to do that someday when somebody signs a contract, you know? Okay, all right, cool. Okay. Oh, yeah. So on ETCSL, sorry, we all got weirded out
It's
there.
not assiduous, it's assiduous.
I think that's what you said.
No, it's not. That's why it didn't sound right, because it was not an actual word. Sorry, carry on.
It's considious. So,
No. Emisal.
Emisal, yes. So in ETCSL, if you see words in, I think it's purple, those are Emisal words. I don't think there are a lot of people that like go around on ETCSL's transliteration page, though. So
Checking out. I mean, I do, but
like, wow, what is this purple word?
I have problems.
No,
Lisa
no.
for truth. Did Assyria have the equivalent of Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, and New Kingdom in Egypt?
Talking about
So
periods?
Mesopotamia as a whole, yes. We split it up into like the early dynastic period, which is before any of the big empires. Then you have like the first dynasty of Akkad, which is Sargon the Great. Kind of the first time the region is unified under one ruler. Then what we have the Ur III period, which is another empire ruled from the city of Ur. Ur III.
Then you have
Judea is kind of in the middle there somewhere as well.
Then you have the Isin Larsa dynasty, which then you lead into the Old Babylonian period. It's sort of the Old Babylonian period in general. Then you have the Middle Babylonian period, and then you have, I mean, it kind of shifts. So you have the Middle Assyrian period kind of running concurrent.
Like further north is Middle Assyrian period, and then you've got like the Middle Babylonian down in the south. And...
But then the first millennium is essentially broken up into, at least from Mesopotamian perspective, the New Assyrian period, which runs roughly the first 400 years, 350 years maybe. Middle of the 10th century, I would say, down into, when it falls in 612. But
and then the Neo-Babylonian period, and then the Persian Empire, and then you have the Seleucids and Alexander the Great and all that jazz. So yeah, we have like periods. It's not as nice and clear cut as Egypt, and there are far more than 3 of them.
But you know what?
We praise Shamash anyway. Riley says, our love of Seinfeld wins us all the points with them. Josh can probably quote the entirety of Seinfeld off the top of his head. We're not going to do that tonight because it takes too long.
It does.
But we've watched Seinfeld many times.
Button fly! Okay.
Theo, Megan, are you not used to our ridiculous portions in the US? No. I come to expect it at restaurants. It still surprises me with things like the huge drinks. And then, yeah, that was more popcorn than I'd ever seen in one place. And someone also asked somewhere, don't I like popcorn? I do like popcorn. The problem is American popcorn is butter.
It's butter
Like,
flavoring.
It's not even real butter.
It's yellow.
And so, sorry, butter on popcorn is just strange to me anyway. Is butter or cheese? Sometimes they put cheese on popcorn. Or cheese flavoring.
That's an odd thing
popcorn.
to say.
It's very strange. In the UK, you have salted popcorn or you have sweet popcorn. And I have a horrible sweet tooth, so I like the sweet popcorn, which is basically caramelized in some kind of syrup.
You do have an HST.
I do. And they don't have that here. The closest I've been able to find is kettle corn, and they don't generally have that in movie theatres or cinemas.
It's hard to get a
as we
kettle
call
into the
them.
movie theatre.
It is hard to get a kettle into the cinema. So I don't tend to have popcorn at American cinemas. I have Junior Mints instead, which are little round mint things covered in chocolate, and they're delicious.
But you have to be careful around people that are under operation.
Apparently, Detoxic Herbivores revised their question. I'm sorry, I missed it. Can you retype it and actually tag me so I don't miss it? Thank you.
I think there's a super chat.
Oh, yes, there is.
The Mad Hacker for $5. Thank you, Mad Hacker. Okay. Satan, hang 10. Okay, thumbs up. Smiley, thumbs up. Okay, okay, hang 10. And Satan again.
I was wondering how you'd do that. That's a string of emojis as read by Kent Hovind. Or Josh's version of Kent Hovind.
I'm sure it's not actually Satan, but I thought Kent Hovind would call it Satan, so...
Theo, did the Assyrians only write on clay, or did they have any kind of paper? So there's...
We have wax
both
boards.
wax writing boards, which are, I think, usually ivory. They are very rare and hard to find, but they do exist.
I think if you find a shipwreck, you can find one.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, but what?
Did you see they have a new shipwreck?
I did see that.
And this is really cool. In Greece, they've opened a Mediterranean Bronze Age shipwreck as a museum. So scuba diving has apparently been illegal in Greece for a long time because they have so many antiquities in their oceans. But they've opened this site as a museum for scuba divers to go down.
There's like a tube that you have to go down so that you can't wander off to other sites. He goes, no, you got to go down here.
Exactly. But Neo-Assyrians also wrote on some kind of parchment. You see them on some palace reliefs. I think the theory is that Aramaic was written on the parchments rather than cuneiform, because you see a scribe with parchment and a scribe with a tablet, a clay tablet.
And they both turn and they say, we are officially the coolest people ever.
So there's a theory that the scribe with the tablet was writing in Akkadian in cuneiform, and the scribe with the parchment was writing in Aramean. So yes, paper. Theo, what did the Assyrians do with eunuchs, and why eunuchs? So, eunuchs are, if you are running an empire, fantastic because they have no children and therefore no dynastic tendencies. It means that you can have people in your household running your stuff, looking after your possessions, guarding your wives, and also in the Neo-Assyrian period ruling your provinces without amassing wealth that will then be lost to the crown. Any wealth eunuchs amass goes straight back to the royal family upon their death because they have no they have no children. This also means, I said earlier, if you are ruling a large area of land and you need someone to go off and govern somewhere for you, you can send a eunuch off. They're not going to start their own dynasty. because they don't have anyone to pass the land on to except the royal family.
You'll never have a situation where somebody says,
I should not have said eunuchs are great.
she's got huge chunks of land.
Exactly. So yes, that's why eunuchs. And again, the Karen Radner lecture on the Oriental Institute's YouTube page goes into that in some detail. Highly recommended. It's a great lecture.
We're coming with you.
That one. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. Someone here saying white cheddar is great on popcorn. This is just strange. Yami Yomizuki. The fake butter stuff emits toxic fumes which are damaging to the lungs and causes popcorn lung. And gives him asthma. He was also a Junior Mints kind of guy. I don't even know if you're joking or if you're serious. That's fascinating. Injustice System 27. Hey, Dr. Josh and Megan, congrats on 8,000. Thank you. That's very exciting. You guys are the best. Thank you for all you do. Also, please do the Ken Ham voice, Dr. Josh. It's so good. And Tyler Durden says, you're looking spicy in that tight floral print. So he actually originally tried on a medium, which was very form-fitting. I enjoyed it. But we felt that for decency's sake, he should probably wear a large.
It would be hard to go.
I mean, we'd see your nipples. I'm not sure that's a downside, but we went with the large.
I would have put that bra on. So
It does look good on you, though. The shirt, I don't think the bra would fit.
It probably wouldn't go with this shirt.
Probably not. Your ribcage is larger.
Actually, I don't know.
Anyway. I mean, there's some red on it. Let me see. Tim Smith, as a frat boy initiation, Dr. Josh must say, I love you, Megan, in Akkadian and any other ancient language. So, I'm not sure. I couldn't do that in Akkadian, not without doing some research.
Anaku ahabuka. Ahabu ki?
Thank you.
I would think.
I love you too. I'm impressed. Again, I wouldn't be able to do that without checking.
Anauhibuk, I think, would be I love you in Arabic. Anioheveltach, be in Hebrew. Sumerian.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of how would I work the object in. Oh man, that's going to take a little bit of time. And now I'm trying to remember the verbal root for love.
Can?
Oh. You know, the one that I wrote my dissertation in, I can't remember. So, yeah, okay.
So Theo is saying that we should try popcorn with lime and salt and tapatio hot sauce. It's delicious. That's
an odd thing to say.
Sound like it would be something I would enjoy it. Tyler Durden, the only decent thing to do is to vacuum seal you into some tight purple latex.
Wait. Let us pray.
I'm not adverse to that idea, Tyler. Pizza pepper. Oh gosh, pizza person peppers. That's a good name. Are you guys familiar with Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast? If so, how does he do covering the topic? So I'm familiar with it, but I haven't actually listened to anything that I would know anything about. So I don't know. My apologies.
I can add to this.
I listened to one when I was doing some market research a while ago. Jonah Epstein, I'm not sure if you've already answered this and I don't want to sound impatient, but when should the first What Do You Mean video be released? P.S. Popcorn lung is real, apparently. Well, there we go.
So I just finished putting the intro. So Megan had to record the intro and the outro to the first video. It is 25 minutes long, maybe. And it covers the first part of the second video. So the first video, I feel like I don't know, it didn't really... Maybe you guys, if you really want me to address something in the first video, I thought it was sort of a lot of unnecessary... It doesn't matter. I really thought that the argument started in the second video, and then there was some in the third. I think there's some stuff in the third video that I probably won't need to address, but the second and some of the third videos are the ones that I thought needed addressing. So there are going to be 2 videos on the second... God, this is confusing. Part 1 of our video and part 2 of our video. We're going to have 3 videos.
The first one will be released a week on Monday.
Well, it'll be on Patreon.
Right, it'll be on Patreon like this week, but it'll be released to the general public a week Monday.
Parts 1 and 2 of our video series will cover video 2. And then part 3 will cover video 3. There, I said it.
There we go.
But it's done. Excuse me.
Theo says, what about I love you in Greek? Right, the first 3 languages were not enough.
Man, reproducing Koine Greek is...
I wouldn't know anyway.
Yeah.
Tyler Durden gives an alternate translation of the Akkadian that you spoke, which is, I do not despise you as I do Ugal Khan, whom I have slain. I mean, that's a winning declaration of love if ever I've heard one.
That's what she said.
Theo is greatly, greatly perturbed by my pronunciation of his hot sauce name. I'm not going to try it again because I think I upset him. I'm sorry. I still don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to try.
It's pronounced Franklin.
Franklin, probably. Dean Martin says you don't look good in florals. I think you look charming.
Well, that was the goal here. It was to look good.
Tyler Durden says, I am an enabler. This is going back to the purple latex comment. You wouldn't believe what you can get up to with enough butter and hallucinogens. We're going to just leave that one right there. So we have a comment from Cadaver Splatter. To my knowledge, the Kish tablet is from 3500 BC. This seems to show that proto-writing is earlier than the 3200 date that is normally given. Now going through the Uruk and Abu Salabik tablets, it appears for sure we have the verbal form, E3 Ru, and other morphology. He forgets which site right now. Is this generally accepted? I don't know.
Give me a second. He's not giving me anything.
No.
Damn it.
Sorry.
That's something I'd probably have to look into.
Yeah, that would take a bit of research. People telling us, Tyler's saying to use real butter when we're putting you into the purple latex so that you don't get popcorn lung.
Sorry. So, like, the extremes of the questions, comments that are coming in here are like advanced Sumerian grammar. This is the kind of butter you use to get in latex. Hey, yeah.
This is why I love our audience. You really never know what you're going to get.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Chris, he says, what's up, my frat scholar couple? Hey, Chris. Nice to see you. Oh, I'm going to put my glasses back on so you can get the full effect. See? I have a gold chain and everything. And SpongeBob on my shirt.
Do you even lift, bro?
I don't.
You do. There's a picture of it on Twitter.
There's a picture of me holding a dumbbell.
That's lifting?
I don't think that's quite the same as lifting. Dun dun dun. Dun dun. What's the time? It is 8:40. Okay. We've been going for an hour. We are happy to stay until 9. And then I must collapse and go to sleep. Because I do a lot of sleeping at the moment. So if you... Oops. There we go.
What the heck are you even doing?
Losing my sunglasses.
Make yourself a dang quesadilla. You know what I should do? Is a little Rex Kwando!
You could give a demonstration for us there.
I need a volunteer. Okay, you'll do. Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei! Alright, sorry.
If you have questions for us, now is the time to put them in.
How many people miss Skylar? I miss Skylar.
Josh is very lonely right now.
We miss Skylar.
Chris is suggesting that we get some rave lighting. If we had thought ahead, and this had not been an idea we had when standing in Walmart at noon today.
There are very few times that I thought I would say in my life, where are all the onesies?
Turns out they don't sell onesies in May. Next time we will get rave lighting.
We should dress up at some point as characters from the Goonies. Then I could do the truffle shuffle.
I've never seen the Goonies. Sorry. Tyler Durden wants to ask, are you wearing American pants? I think he means the American version of pants, which is trousers. No. We did, although in Walmart we did see dungarees or overalls with the American flag on them, and we nearly bought them, but they were $50 each, which was more than we wanted to spend on an item of clothing that we would wear once. So, B. Haven says, Josh, be thankful you have a fun, eclectic audience. You never know when you need to be MacGyvered out of trouble. This is true. This is true.
Dun, 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 dun. It's the MacGyver theme song.
I thought it might be. Again, I've never seen MacGyver. Swoskis, have you ever seen a liger produce a non-liger? Gosh.
You want to play me?
Michael Johnson says onesies are on Amazon. They are, but again, I had the onesie idea at like 8 a.m. this morning, which and Amazon is great, but they are unlikely to get us onesies by 7:30. So we thought Walmart literally always has onesies. I walk into Walmart and there are no onesies. So I feel sad because I used to have a penguin onesie and a cow print onesie. I got rid of both of them because I hadn't worn them in about 3 years.
I may have hidden them.
He didn't like them very much.
You did have a pair of boots. I'm blanking on what kind of boots they were. Like what the name is.
A regular choice?
No. Those I like. Those are always wonderful. You wear them around the house. Like
My slippers?
Slippers. Thank you is the word I was going for. And I went...
Oliver likes them. He keeps trying to wear them. You mean the ones with fuzz on the inside?
Yeah, I think that you don't have anymore.
Oh, different ones. I don't remember.
I think they might have been zebra print.
Yes, they were a gift, and I don't, generally speaking, own animal print anything except... Well, this isn't really animal print. God alone knows what this is. Yes, I do remember that. I donated those. Tyler Durden... Oh, no, so we have Steve Bowden. Sorry, if we donated our outfits to charity, would we feel good or ashamed of yourselves?
That's not funny.
I would feel good because somewhere a student with no money could also buy a frat boy outfit.
And ask...
How do you know that?
I was going to say, do you even live, bruh?
Oh.
How do you even know that, bruh?
Yeah, yes. There we go.
That's what
we should do.
An academic frat boy. How do you even know that, bruh?
Tyler Durden... Oh, sorry. Freddie Four Fingers first. I've learned so much from watching your channel and I appreciate everything you are doing. Keep it up. Thank you. We really appreciate that.
And we're sorry about your loss of a thumb.
Well, no, you can have 4 fingers and a thumb. Tyler Durden. Oh dear. No. You cannot practice Rex Kwando without American pants. Red, white, and blue, like the majestic bald eagle.
You think anybody wants to get a roundhouse kick to the face while I'm wearing these bad boys?
I wouldn't want a roundhouse kick to the face no matter what you were wearing.
Blast off.
Christopher Hansen, how tired do you get of people who think that parallels automatically equal a causal relationship in mythology and ancient literature? Very tired.
Wait. It doesn't.
I'm going to say this once. Correlation does not equal causation.
Get down, girl. Go ahead, get down.
And I learned that in high school psychology, and it is just always true, always. Sometimes there can be correlation or causation between correlates, but it is not required. Thank you, Chris. Excellent question. Very tired. Smitty is going to get some grub and take another remote battery. I thought someone said something about popcorn again. B Havens, onesies are easier to find in the winter in the jammies section. They are. And I see, this is where I knew that I'd fallen down, because we got to the pajama section and there are these like short pajamas because it's May and it is hot as balls. No one wants to be wearing a onesie right now.
Of all the things that you've ever said, for some reason that was the most provocative.
I am overheating in
My
this.
very posh British wife just said the phrase "hot as balls."
I'm not posh.
You're not?
No.
I don't know what posh
I
means.
was raised on child benefits.
I thought posh meant like really well spoken or something.
Yeah. Generally, it has a correlation of wealth as well. But as Chris pointed out, I mean, correlation does not equal causation, so maybe I can be posh and also poor.
I still think that you and your family sound like Peppa Pig.
Thank you. Steve Bowden, the only thing I lift is spirits. Theo wants me to tip the fedora. I'm not sure that's what he meant, but that's what I did.
Dun, 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 dun.
Chris Hansen, do you know of any ritual tablets associated with the death and resurrection of Inanna?
Yes, and we're not telling you.
A lot of mythicists try arguing she is, and I'm wondering what ritual basis there is for this. I don't know of any.
I don't know that I would consider Inanna to be the death and rising.
No, she's not at all.
I think that she's directly related to Easter, though.
Shut up. I will smack you.
What do you mean?
I don't know of anything, Chris.
I now have that catchphrase in my head, though.
I will... it might be worth... If you follow Gina Konstantopoulos on Twitter, she might be a good person to ask.
Mm-hmm.
She is...
a good person to ask anything.
Yes, she really is. But she's more likely to have... a better grasp of ritual texts than we are. She does more ritual stuff.
Also, she's way smarter.
She is much smarter than both of us. So I don't know of any. If you don't have Gina on Twitter, email me and I'll link you two up.
I mean, I don't think she's way smarter than you, but she's way smarter than me.
Cadaver Splatter, do you guys need an intern for free work related to your channel? I'd be most happy to help. Thank you. Actually, probably. We do have an intern. We just got confirmation today that that's going to work out. A friend of ours who runs the Archaeological Fantasies podcast is going to do some videos for us on the basics of archaeology as part of her master's degree.
And I've also started Kramerica Industries. We're getting ready to drop a big ball of oil out the window.
No, we're not. But Cadaver Splatter...
Hello!
Probably yes, thank you.
Sorry. I'm adding absolutely nothing tonight.
You're adding a lot of humour.
Yeah.
And at times, very useful answers to questions.
No, I haven't done any of
I can't
those.
tell them about MSR.
Yeah, I don't think I told him about it
I
either.
think you did. Cadaver Splatter, short answer is yes. I will email you or Facebook you and we can work something out. Thank you very much. Sorry. Michael K. Films, are you a bodybuilder?
I think that's for you.
No. I lift up two small children on a very regular basis. And they are very heavy small children. But that's about all I do. I do yoga sometimes. Oliver has been helping me. And Oliver is 15 months old, for those of you who don't know. And by helping me do yoga, I mean that he comes and pulls my hair and tries to sit on my head and then climb up my legs. And occasionally he'll do down dog with me and he thinks that's absolutely hilarious. But then if I go on the ground for any kind of groundwork, he tries to sit on me. He thinks it's very funny. And then he brings me shoes.
But only one.
Only one. Last week I had to go to the bus stop to take our youngest daughter to the bus for school in an odd pair of shoes because I can't for the life of me find a matching pair because Oliver has hidden them. They're probably under the couch somewhere, to be honest. Yes, so he's very helpful. Theo, are there any Indiana Jones-esque traps at Assyrian locations or curses or something? No, sadly not. That would be amusing. Well, not amusing.
I know that I've probably told this story before, but it bears telling again. When I was in Syria excavating with the Hopkins Belgian team, there was a guy that was with us. I'm blanking on his name now. Dr. Maskovich. Adam Maskovich.
Oh, Adam.
And every morning we had to go out. We got up at 4, and we'd have to actually start walking out. So we had to be out at the hotel by 4:30. And I don't know if it was every morning, but almost. We're all like walking out there like zombies, and he would go, dun, 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 dun. And it was pretty funny. It's nothing like Indiana Jones.
No. Yeah.
Not even one.
No, not even a little bit. Like, you get very excited when you actually find something. Rand, why is the glyph for bed the same as the one for horn? Utu.
The glyph for what?
The Sumerian sign for bed.
Oh, so, yeah. I don't know specifically that. One of the things that happens is you have signs that, Ka, for example, you probably know this. So for everybody else that doesn't know this, the Ka sign can be read a bunch of different ways. So Ka means mouth, Zutu would be tooth, Inim means speak, but these all have to do with like the mouth area. So why?
Is it not just a phonetic assimilation?
I'd have to look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to
Don't
look.
know is the answer. Tim Smith, here is a downer. Was child sacrifice used in ancient Near Eastern religious practices? I don't know in Mesopotamia.
I can't think of anything. However,
Keith Durrell, we have an interview with him, wrote his dissertation on child sacrifice in ancient Israel.
and this
We have his shiny book.
is the book you want to get. Oh wait, how about I move my hand out of the way?
Dun dun dun. Available on Amazon.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's not that difficult of a read.
No.
I mean, he really wrote that. I think he wrote it well. It's an Eisenbronze publication, which so you should be able to find it pretty quickly. But again, we interviewed him on our channel, and it's a fantastic interview. So, but it's all on child sacrifice. So
Pizza person Peppers. I'm sure it's been addressed before, but what kind of tattoo is that on Josh's arm? It's the American flag.
So
And that says USAF because I can never read the words, the letters.
so
You should tell that story. That's a good story.
has a lot to do with Mesopotamia. So I joined the service when I was 17, and I turned 18 in basic training, and I got to my tech school, which was in Biloxi, Keesler Air Force Base, and Mississippi. And you weren't allowed to go off base for like 2 weeks or something, so that you wouldn't go crazy. The first time I was allowed to go off base, I'm very introverted. Nobody would probably believe that, but I'm very introverted. And I felt really weird going off base, so I didn't for a long time, actually. But one day I kind of got up the nerve to go off base, and I didn't have a car or anything. So I just walked out the gate. And I think it was the back gate, now that I think about it. But anyway, I walked out the gate and walked, I don't know, 500 feet or something. I can't remember exactly. And there was like two stores right next to each other, two shops. One was a porn shop and one was a tattoo parlor, right? So I'm a good Christian at this time. So I went into the tattoo parlor and I walked in there and the guy said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yeah. I want a tattoo." And he said, "Okay. Any idea what?" And I went, "Yeah. That one." And he said, "Well, I see you've really put some time and thought into this." So I said, "Yeah, can you write Semper Fi underneath of it?" So he said, "Yeah, sure." So he sat down and he put the little purple, ink thing on there, and I'm looking at it. Oh man, it looks really great, hanging at different levels. He gets his little, tool out to cut me, and he goes, "So how long you been in the Marine Corps?" And I said, "Oh, I'm in the Air Force." He dropped the tool, literally dropped it. And I got so angry and just stormed out of the room. I'm sitting there so he comes back out a couple minutes later and he goes, I refuse to put that on you. First of all, they'll kill you if they see it on you. But I'm not doing it. I was like, "Oh, All right. I mean, I write USAF. So there you go. That's what I got.
That's the story of Josh's tattoo.
That's the story of my tattoo.
Michael K. Films, how long did it take you to reach 1,000 subs? It took me so long to reach my subs, and I feel as I'm never going to get to 1,000. It didn't take us... How long did it take us? A month? Or was it longer? I know we had this period where we got like 5,000 within a couple of months.
I thought it took longer than that.
But I can't remember how long it took to get the first... Once you hit 1,000, I feel like everything speeds up.
Yeah.
It may have been 3 or 4 months, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Once you hit 1,000, things do tend to speed up. But we were really strict about, we had really regular postings. We posted a lot. We uploaded
7 days a week.
A lot in the first few months of our channel, because we were young and idealistic and a little bit stupid.
And we didn't do this a lot. That should be my next tattoo.
That should.
Us doing this.
We should just have a t-shirt. Jazz fingers. Yeah, it is kind of, I don't want to say depressing. It's frustrating and disheartening because you spend a lot of time making videos and you feel like no one is watching them. You feel like no one is interested. You will get there.
Yeah. I mean, we had a lot of help from the community.
We did. We really, really did.
I went on the Non-Sex Show and did an interview, and then and they said, "Are you guys starting a channel?" Mm-hmm. And Megan said yes, and I didn't know that she said yes.
That was the first Josh knew about. But then we timed launching the channel with his next appearance on Non-Sec, which got us like to
Kyle and Steve said
several hundred
go
within
right
our
now
first,
and subscribe.
24 hours of having a channel. So we've had an awful lot of help from a lot of very kind and generous people. I doubt we'd have grown this quickly without that support.
Also, your voice is badass.
So's your hat. Joan Epstein. If you were stuck on a desert island and you could bring one ancient Near Eastern text to keep yourself entertained till rescue, what text would it be and why?
Oh, an RLA volume, so that I could hollow it out and put iodine tablets.
I think he means like Epic of Gilgamesh.
Come on, I'm quoting The Office now.
Oh, sorry.
That's what Dwight said.
Right.
Physician's desk manual. So we could hollow it out and put iodine tablets and beets.
Definitely beets.
Good grief, Dwight. Assistant regional manager. All right, I'm really not helping at all. I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Probably the Epic of Gilgamesh. I just really like it. It's a bad answer. It's relatively long, so it would keep me, like, I could reread it, I mean, probably like 8 million times before someone rescued me. But that would actually be a pretty cool text to memorize. So then when I was rescued, I'd be able to say, hey, I memorized the Epic of Gilgamesh. And then I'd go quietly mad. How about you?
I'd take some Sexplex.
He said text.
There, you know.
You can take some of the bridal songs.
Look, I'm interpreting that very loosely.
Very loosely.
And I feel okay about that.
The Transporter. He's saying, next dress-up video, Josh should be Indiana Jones and Megan would be a badass Lara Croft.
Hell yeah.
I don't have the hair for Lara Croft or the boobs. Like, she has huge boobs.
Let me tell you about your body.
Like, I should... Yeah. B. Havens, is it me or does Indiana Jones come across as a Tomb Raider rather than a reputable archaeologist? Yes. Yes, Indiana Jones is a bad archaeologist. Bad. Definitely Tomb Raider. Theo, is Pazuzu from The Exorcist really based on a Mesopotamian figure? Yes, Pazuzu is a Mesopotamian demon. What did he do? I can't remember. They all had, like, special jobs.
I'm trying to think of something funny to say. I'm not really in a serious mindset tonight, sorry.
Yes, Pazuzu was a Mesopotamian demon.
That's something else you want to ask Dr. Constantopoulos.
Yeah, Gina would know. Freddy Fourfingers, hopefully I can word this correctly. Do you know anything about the Mesopotamian, Sumerian, etc. music or instruments used in those cultures? No. Well, no, you do. I don't. You do.
It's tough. I mean, there's a book out by Ori Gabai on the Ershema, and in it, sorry guys, excuse me. What was I saying?
Drums?
Yes, sorry. So Ori Gabai, he wrote on the laments, one particular lament called the Ershema, and in the laments you have several different musical instruments that are used, and so he goes through all the information that we have on them, talking about the different signs that are used for them, the different etymologies, the evidence that we have for things like pronunciation, whatever, and then usage and identification. So if you guys email me, I can get you the citation for that.
But yes, drums and harps, definitely. And actually, we have musical notations in some cuneiform tablets, which is pretty cool.
Sam Merleman has written a little bit on that.
Yeah, we do need to get someone in to interview, because we get asked this semi-regularly, and it's not something I know enough about. But
you know who would know, I suspect, is Brack.
We could ask Brack.
Yeah, yep. He studied ancient musicology.
Pizza Person Peppers, Air Force. Josh was in SG-1, wasn't he? Stargate. Yes.
Yes. I was the really whiny guy.
I choose to believe this. Michael Johnson, random question. I brew beer, and our homebrew shop encouraged me to brew some with malted purple Egyptian barley. Have you come across any ancient beer recipes? Yes, and they did recreate one, and apparently it tasted absolutely foul. I don't have one that I can send you to try out, I'm afraid.
We translated through...
Yes.
I think the Ninkasi hymn, actually. I think that's what we did. Ninkasi was the god of beer. Sorry. I've run out of things to say.
Sorry, I'm looking.
I don't know that I actually had things to say tonight.
I think we've done very well.
Yeah.
Theo, do you two remember what you first thought of each other when you met? Yeah.
I thought this.
So Josh was one of the students I met when I interviewed at Hopkins. I was very intimidated and mildly terrified, but I thought he was really cute and smart.
I found all kinds of reasons to talk to her. Hey, you're in the library, and do you need help with that? Because, like, there are a lot of books, and I could, like, show you how to find them if you need to. Like, our books are here, not all of them, but these are ours. Do you need help with that or anything? She was like... And then I memorized Cockney rhyming.
I had a huge crush on him. I did.
And then she threw carrots at my head.
I did throw carrots at his head.
Baby carrots, though, so it was okay. It was legal.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Are we still alive?
Yes.
Oh.
Amio Mizuki is insinuating that I am already quietly mad. You're not wrong. Rand is saying someday he hopes to be able to read Gilgamesh if I can find the actual images short of $200. Wow. So I think a lot of the tablets should be available on museum websites.
Okay.
Have you tried CDLI, which is the Cuneiform Digital Library Initiative? They have photographs. I mean, they don't have photographs of everything, but they have photographs of a lot.
It might be difficult to...
They might not be good photographs.
Well, I was going to say it might not be difficult to navigate it. Andrew George wrote a 2-volume monumental work on Gilgamesh, and can't remember what it's... It might just be called the Epic of Gilgamesh. Can't remember. But, yeah.
Yami is saying Pazuzu was the god or demon of winds and pestilence. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That is helpful. Jonah Epstein, what Gilgamesh translations do you feel are the best? So I haven't read widely, but generally speaking, anything Andrew George does on Gilgamesh is absolutely fantastic.
And there's a new one.
And there is a new one.
And this one's by Ben Foster.
That is by Ben Foster, who's also fantastic and wrote or translated this giant tome. I didn't realise that one had arrived. I need to read it. So yes,
I'll read it now.
Until I read through
this
this
It was the best
one,
of times. It was the worst of times. Call me Ishmael.
Sorry. Until I read this one, Andrew George, definitely, absolutely fantastic. Sorry. Silent Dimension. Congratulations on 8,000. Keep informing the public on misconceptions of the ancient world. Thank you. Beach wants to hear the baby carrot story now. So because I was a very mature grad student and I had a crush on this guy here, we were studying in the library one day in the Near Eastern Studies room, and I was going to say he said something, but he probably didn't. I probably just started throwing carrots at his head because I'm very mature and that's how I got his attention.
And at one point she ran out and Dr. Reed passed her more to throw it.
Yes, I ran out of carrots, so Dr. Reed gave me some more.
I will never forgive him.
That's why we ended up married.
Yeah.
Magnus Thurup Hansen, if you had to live in a pre-Bronze Age collapsed civilization, which one would it be? I don't know. Probably not the
I feel like there'd be a lot of opportunities in the 3 period.
Yeah. Probably not the Levant, because it's kind of, I don't know, disparate and spread out. I'd like a Mesopotamian heartland city, I think. Like Ur, maybe. Or Uruk. Probably Ur, if I'm honest. I like Ur. There we go. Let's keep looking. Sorry. Yami Miziki, I know unhealthy amounts about demonology, and yet not nearly enough. I actually started getting into Assyriology because of Irving Finkel and his videos on demons and ghosts. Yeah. Irving Finkel is awesome.
Yeah, he is.
And actually, we have his colleague at the British Museum, Jonathan Taylor, coming on for an interview on Tuesday.
It's going to be awesome.
Which is going to be fantastic. And actually, we're just at 9, and we've actually managed to catch up with our questions.
And we have 63 people watching.
We have one more question from Theo, and then we are closing the questions. Theo says, Alexander the Great's army versus the US Air Force. Who would win? The planes near Gargamela. I mean, probably the US Air Force because of things like bombs.
And because they're always faithful. I was a really stupid kid.
We were all stupid kids.
Oh, that's true.
It's a trait of being a kid. So this week coming up, on Monday, I'm going to be releasing the next in our video series on Van der Meerop's History of the Ancient Near East. It involves many illustrations of the Mesopotamians done by myself. So please be kind. It's been a long time since I drew anything.
It's awesome.
I'm quite pleased with it. So that's coming on Monday. On Tuesday, I think at like 3 p.m. EST, but check the calendar. We have Dr. Jonathan Taylor from the British Museum coming on to talk to us about a curative life, what he does day to day, his research opportunities, his research interests, what goes into creating an exhibition like the Ashurbanipal exhibition that recently closed at the British Museum. He didn't curate that particular exhibition, but I feel like he'd be able to tell us what kind of work goes into it. What else is happening this week? Our computer is arriving and I will be building that on Wednesday. On Saturday, we are doing a book club. We're going to look at the Book of Lamentations in the Hebrew Bible. I was about to say the Old Hebrew Testament, which isn't a thing. So in the Hebrew Bible, thank you. The Book of Lamentations, because we've spent the past 2 book clubs looking at Mesopotamian Lamentations.
So sorry I keep yawning, guys.
It's okay. And then I'm getting on a plane and going to the UK and spending 2.5 weeks on a tiny Scottish island for my sister's wedding.
And I'm really going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you too.
She's awesome.
You're awesome. Unfortunately, Josh and our girls can't go because the girls haven't finished school yet, and the oldest is in middle school now, and I'm not too keen on taking her out of school for 2 weeks.
Also, when you hugged me just now, I realized I have a really big head.
You have a beautiful head. So, I said no more questions, but we do have questions. Cadaver Splatter is telling us Pazuzu is not a demon of disease. He was invoked to scare away Lamashtu. Awesome, thank you. Brant, who was our favourite sports ball team?
Ravens. Although I haven't had the chance to watch them in a year.
We haven't, watched a lot of football.
I have this thing going on called the YouTube.
Ruben Lira, where can one find an accurate translation of the things Sitchin was butchering? Difficult because you don't often know exactly what Sitchin was trying to translate. Generally speaking, ETCSL, which is the electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature, has fantastic translations of a lot of stuff that he appears to have been using, but he doesn't tell you what they are, so you don't really know.
If you watch our video, you'll see some of the difficulties of this, because it's like you don't know what he's saying that he's translating. It's bizarre.
Yes.
Also, he doesn't know Sumerian.
He doesn't know Sumerian. Have a look at our videos, and if there's something specific that you've read in his books that you'd like to try and track down, email us with what he says about it, and we'll see if we can track it down.
Heck yes, we will.
We'll try.
We'll do whatever we feel like we want to do. Gosh.
So, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We got to 8,000, which is really, really cool and very exciting. All right.
Indeed. Well,
I'll see you on Tuesday for our interview live stream, and then we'll both see you next Saturday, and then I won't see you for a long time because I don't think the Isle of Coal has internet.
Probably not, but I guess until next time, guys, resist poor scholarship. Always ask.
How do you know that?